Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
The man suspected of killing his pregnant wife and their 2 young daughters appears in court. I'm John Schumer with the latest on the investigation in Frederick, Colorado.
And in Butte, a compromise is reached over a marijuana grow operation in a former elementary school. How complaints over the issue will be resolved, that's all coming up.
Just ahead at 6:30 on this Friday, Chet Lehman, Missy O'Malley with you. Matt has our weekend forecast in a moment. Our top news this half hour, a tragic end to a search for 2 missing little girls and their mother in Colorado. Last night, authorities say they found what they believe are all 3 of their bodies.
Now, prosecutors say it was their father who killed them. CBS's John Schumer has our latest.
Investigators in Frederick, Colorado say the bodies of Shanann Watts and her 2 daughters have all been found.
This is absolutely the worst possible outcome that any of us could imagine. And I think our hearts are broken for the town of Frederick.
A post on the town's Facebook page says the bodies of 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste were discovered in the same area as their mother's body, at an oil and gas field where husband and father Christopher Watts worked.
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
The 33-year-old ignored reporters' questions on Thursday as he walked into his court hearing.
I will tell you that at this point the court is not authorizing any bail.
Watts was arrested on suspicion of killing his family. Prosecutors believe he murdered them in their home.
Mommy has a baby in her belly.
Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant. Her husband was not shy about answering reporters' questions earlier in the week when he begged for their safe return.
If somebody has her, just please bring her back.
Police have not said what the motive may have been. Friends and neighbors are trying to find answers.
Those 2 little girls are so innocent and so sweet. I just don't understand how you could do this to your family.
Formal charges will be filed against Watts next week. John Schumer, CBS News.
The judge told the prosecutors to file charges by Monday. He set a Tuesday morning hearing to review the charges with Watts.
Back here in the Treasure State, in just one day, the Howe Ridge fire burning in Glacier National Park has grown more than 1,000 acres. Fire now burning at 3,500 acres and taking Glacier Park history with it. 2 helicopters worked to drop water on the fire perimeter throughout the day yesterday in order to slow that fire growth. Some evacuated landowners were able to return to their properties for a brief time, although some areas were still considered to be too dangerous.
And the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest is now in stage 1 fire restrictions. A pair of fires burning in the Gravelly Range Mountains south of Ennis has now scorched more than 9,500 acres. Monument Fire is 5% contained. It's listed at 5,400 acres. And the Wigwam Fire is at 4,190 acres with 0% containment at this time.
And we've been talking about it all week. The Goldstone Fire west of Dillon on the Montana-Idaho border. It has now burned more than 7,000 acres, 0% contained. That fire burning on both sides of the Montana-Idaho border. Crews working to protect homes that may be threatened in Idaho. Forest roads around the fire have been closed. Stage 1 fire restrictions are in place for the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest.
And the Bacon Rhine Fire continues to burn in the Lee Metcalf Wilderness and Yellowstone National Park between Big Sky and West Yellowstone. It's grown to 1,838 acres. MTN's Carson Vickroy has our full update.
Fire personnel continue to keep the blaze away from Highway 191, but no buildings in the area are threatened.
It's not a threat to people. It's not a threat to any private property or structures in the area. So it's a lightning-caused fire, and that natural process is going to continue, and it'll be weather that puts this fire out more than us.
Firefighters are using water drops from a helicopter to tame the blaze.
Helicopter is dipping water out of the Gallatin River here in Yellowstone National Park. They have a pump set up with what we call a pumpkin that the helicopter can dip the bucket into and collect that water and then take it on site.
You can see the flames from Highway 191, and many of the trailheads and roads are closed.
And we also have equipment and personnel that are using some of the other pullouts, and that's why they're coned off, so that we have a place to park our engines and for people to work from.
Highway 191 remains open. However, heavy smoke from the fire may cause delays.
And with the reduced visibility with the smoke in the area, signs are posted to reduce your speed. It'd be a good idea to drop it down to 45 miles an hour. When we have pilot car assistance, that's around 35. And you could be held up for maybe 10 minutes.
The National Park and Forest Service see the Bacon Rhine fire as an ecological benefit.
The Park Service and the National Forest worked together to try and figure out, okay, what is the game plan for this fire? And all those things came together, and they said, this is an amazing fire that we have the opportunity to manage for ecological benefit, to get fire back into a part of the ecosystem that hasn't seen it in a very long time.
In Yellowstone National Park, Carson Vickroy, MTN News.
6:34 now, meteorologist Matt Elwell joining us with snow in the forecast. Really not, but that's going to be what it's going to take for these fires to go out. People just don't think about all of that at this point. Yeah. It's going to be before we get that.
Yeah, absolutely. This year has been amazing for us as far as rainfall, just not in July or August.
Right. Yeah.
Today may be a little game changer for us. As a matter of fact, we do have our wildfire danger jumping today. At times up into that 5 to 6, even 8 showing up there briefly out toward Dillon. So we're going to watch that wildfire danger potential pretty closely. Temperature's a lot warmer this morning. That does not help our wildfire taming process here for the most part. A good chance that we'll see some late day thunder showers in the area, and that'll linger into the evening. The smoke's going to stick with us, but it is going to cool down. We'll talk more about that, of course, in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Mining City News now at 6:35. The controversy over a former Butte school being used as a place to grow medical marijuana has been resolved. MTN's John Amy explains some of that compromise.
What started out as a controversial issue last week involving a medical marijuana provider here in Butte growing marijuana in a former school in the Greeley neighborhood was resolved with a compromise. The Butte Zoning Board gave medical marijuana provider Lacey Monique a 120-day extension to move her operation out of the former Greeley school. Monique said afterwards she was very happy with the compromise.
I didn't think they'd give it to me. You know, it was kind of a shot in the dark, but it gives me long enough to give the neighbors what they want. And I want them to, you know, be safe. I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not welcomed.
This compromise was reached after the city initially told the medical marijuana provider that she had to cease and desist operations last week. Monique said the extension will give her enough time to move her operation out of the former Greeley building and into another location that's properly zoned for her business.
I do have an idea, but I'm not telling anyone, with a couple of exclamation points, okay?
Some residents from the Greeley neighborhood who were initially against this grow operation in their neighborhood said they are pleased with the compromise.
It's a good compromise. We're going to let the lady stay in there another 120 days so she can get her product up and runnable and sellable, and she can make a little money, and then she promises to vacate the building, and that's what we want.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Now, Monique will continue to operate her store on Harrison Avenue, and she'll find another location for her grow operation over the next 120 days.
Well, statistic here, Montana consistently ranks in the top states for high rates of drunk driving. In fact, recent study by SafeWise.com says Montana #1 for DUI fatalities. MTN's Mallory Peebles looks at what's being done to address this issue in Gallatin County.
On driving under the influence of alcohol, a fourth or subsequent offense.
In the past week, 5 people have been arrested for drunk driving in Gallatin County. It was a felony for 3 because it was their 4th or more DUI. This is the issue in a snapshot.
I don't see that it's getting much better, honestly.
Kelly Parker-Watney, coordinator for the County DUI Task Force, says between staffed positions and volunteers, they're getting out to local events, reminding folks to drive sober.
They do think it won't happen to me, and those really are some dangerous words.
Even with all their work, she believes the rate of DUI is stagnant because...
To me, what really needs to happen is the DUI legislation needs to get tougher.
Just this week, Gallatin County joined 14 other counties with a list of suggestions for lawmakers going into the 2019 legislative session. Suggestions include raising the beer tax to offset the cost of treatment and enforcement, and requiring ignition interlocks for first-time offenders to discourage those who do it for the first time and prevent those who choose to repeat. It's an effort to change the big picture. Reporting for Bozeman, Mallory Peebles, MTN News.
Now, the task force says each year in Montana, there's about 2,000 vehicle crashes involving a drunk driver. Half of those crashes involve injuries.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, too many of them involve fatalities as well.
Absolutely. We do have to take a quick break. Stay with us. In a moment, we have a romantic little treat of a video from our friends at Red Bull featuring an extreme runner. Some parkour coming your way.
Romance at Red Bull rate. But first, let's check in with John Dickerson and see what's coming up at 7 o'clock.
Good morning ahead on CBS this morning. We'll take a look back at the life, legacy, and impact of Aretha Franklin. Close friends Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, and Jon Batiste join us to remember the Queen of Soul. And first on CBS this morning, Jeff Pegues reveals how some of the country's police academies are addressing racial bias. He got a rare look inside a training course at the New York Police Department. We'll see you at 7.